Hello and welcome to another Black Series review. Today, oops, backwards, I managed to pick up a Mandalorian figure. That's pretty cool. Finally managed to pick this up. I did see more pictures of the showcase of the SH Figuarts Mandalorian, not the product images. It was like at a toy fair. I think it's the WonderCon or whatever. And it looks much better than the original promotional pics. They added a little bit of dirt and grit to it to make it look a little bit closer to this. So I'm definitely going to pick it up just to compare it with this and see which one is better, you know. And I also picked up a lot of Jawas, and I also picked up Big Mando. That's pretty cool. So yes, before we go on to the review, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe button if you haven't done so already for more of these action figure reviews, as well as Lego reviews on this channel, plenty of other Star Wars toys and model kits. And as always, you can support this channel by watching this video with adblock turned off, sharing it with other people, and do please check out Patreon if you think this channel deserves some support. Anyway, on to the review. Alright, let's start with our main man here, Mando. Let's get him out. Ooh, his plastic rubbery cape thing is very soft. And he's got a tiny pistol here. Let's get that out. Alright, there we go. Let's see how easy he stands. That's great. Okay, so he has a pistol pouch here again. Same soft plastic. You can get that pistol, slides in there, peg that back in, and I guess he's gonna hold this gun. Huh. How does he hold this? Just slide that in. I saw the Figuarts version is gonna come with this gun as well, so let's see. I'm tempted to get the Figuarts one as well just to compare them, but yeah. He's holding it like so. Great. You go there for a while. Next up, we got one of these black Jawas. Sounds like a blaxploitation movie. Black Jawas. So that could be a thing. Let's see. Get it out. Come on. Whoop. Yeah. All these came out quite easily. Come on. There we go. So, this has seen better days, even straight from the factory. So I'm not sure how he's supposed to, like, I guess this can go in there. No, it won't go in there. Does this go in there? No, that won't go in there. I don't know what goes in that pouch. This one's not going to go in. It feels like I'm going to break it before I do that. So, oh, whatever. He's just going to, I guess, hold this gun. Can he hold this gun? Oh, just barely. No, that's fine. So, there we go. Oh, he dropped it. Never mind. We'll do that later. And finally, we get our big Mando here. And he's got this giant jetpack gun thing. So I guess the jetpack is like an energy source. So I guess he can either fire his gun or... So I guess he can fire his gun or use the jetpack. So just plug that in. Cool. And plug that in. Please stay in. And I guess this hand's gonna hold on to that like so. And I'll do the posing later. So he's a little bit taller than our other Mando. Just a little bit taller. I'm just going to stick our Jawa there. I always wanted to pick up some Jawas. The original Jawas were sort of just plastic, but this one has this fabric there. Not sure how I feel about that, seeing how damaged and crappy that looked. I should pay more attention in the shop before picking this up. I mean, it is brand new. Then again, the other one, Jawa thing, is also trying to flay apart. So I think the original Jawas, just for that alone, is better than what we have here. But let's do some comparisons. So it's playing the SH Figuarts Boba Fett. You see he is just, I guess in real life it would be like just like a few inches shorter. I'm gonna bring in my Boba Fett model kit, which I custom painted. He is about a few inches taller than Mando. And if I bring in one of the old Stormtroopers. This is a shadow one because I don't have the white one anymore, that was sold. This one, yeah, he's just a tad bit shorter than him. We're bringing the new Stormtrooper figure out. He's the same height as the Boba Fett figure. And if I were to bring in a model kit Stormtrooper, see the model kit Stormtrooper, like the model kit Boba Fett is a little bit taller than Mando. So the Jawa here is about 11 centimeters tall. Big Mandalorian is about 16.5, and Mando here is about 15 and a bit centimeters. So Mandalorian here, both this version and the carbonized, like slightly chrome version, is pretty, not impossible to get, but the price has gone up a little bit because this is a popular character. And I do wonder when, I guess, season 2 comes out, or later when Hasbro decides to release, say, his upgraded armor look, that will probably get sold out as well. So I'm just going to say, hey, if you like Mandalorian, you probably want to pick up as soon as you can. Because it's the XH figures that's coming out, but just seeing by the photos alone, that's a much cleaner and softer look, whereas this one is like a gruffier and I guess actually closer to how he looks in the show. So I think most people will probably be fine or even prefer this one over the SH figure arts. I like this character a lot, so I am tempted to get this in figure arts as well and just compare the two. And of course I will probably only keep one of them because I don't need two. I don't have the space for that. I don't have the space for like some people, like I've got 10 different versions of Darth Vader. Like I can't do that. So yes, starting with the helmet there, the chrome finishing on this helmet actually looks really nice, and the sort of dirt splatter there is also pretty good. The silver bits damage on him also pretty decent. It's only upon very close up do you start to notice some of the I guess the print issues, if you can call it that. But no, overall it looks pretty amazing. The different colors they've used for the molded plastic is also pretty good as well. So we've got the dark color of his suit, and this sort of blue, got the brown, got this one like a tan color, so that's 4 colors. Yeah, that's 4 colors in the molding, and of course on top of that you have the blue paint, silver paint, this chrome paint, and some little paint bits on the fingertips and stuff. This is a nicely produced Black Series figure. I think Hasbro's put more attention on this because I guess he's a main character on top of just other regular sort of Black Series releases. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So the black on the shine here is not as great as I would like it to be. Obviously this is where the figure arts one would shine, literally, because they have very smooth like hard plastic and they'll do a really nice shine to it. But moving around the helmet, the overall molded detail is pretty good. So I'm just going to a quick look down there. You can see that this strap piece there's a little peg hole. This is supposed to line up with that peg hole, and you're supposed to be able to plug this gun in. I'll try that in a moment when I'm talking about accessories. So yeah, moving down here, it's got the different cuts on the clothing. It looks really nice. I like the shoulder pads here. I like, even though they're not as complicated as some SH figure arts shoulder pads, they can get out of the way because they're very soft plastic and they just sort of molded or stuck to the upper like arm, so that's great. And they do also help hide the joints just a little bit. It's nice. And yeah, moving down on the belt here, you got these soft plastics as well. They get out of the way from posing. And while this is a typical like older style hip joint, he's bulky enough that it's almost covered. It is not as bad as say something from Mattel. Those look really bad. Or the other figure, the Insuman that I just reviewed, that was just hideous. These knee pads also help hide the joints as well. Not the back of course, but on the front, yeah. And there are some details molded into the joints as well, so that's pretty cool. Got some holes there for the peg stands or whatever. And yeah, overall he looks really good, and I really, again, love how soft this is. While it doesn't look quite plasticky, it does with all the molded patterns in there, like the texture and those fake little folds that fabric would have. It's pretty cool. So in terms of accessories, we got this tiny little pistol there. Yep, chrome silver finish, quite nice, with a black handlebar. That's pretty good, and it fits very well into his little thing there. That's very well fitting. Peg this in. I wonder how long this piece will last. And we got that giant rifle here. It fits quite snugly in his hand. Again, it's a disintegration thing that we also saw in the original appearance of Boba Fett. soft-ish plastic. So, but it will still snap if you put force on it, and that's done quite well as well. So, how well can he hold, like pose with this gun? Like, let's see. So, let's move his arm up and zoom out a little bit now. And how am I going to pose him naturally with this? I guess this would go in his hand. So, but how would he? If I want him to do the aim pose, that's not really possible. If he had double jointed elbows, maybe. Some Marvel figures do have that. So, but this is like right now, this is the best I can get this. Guess you can rotate the gun a little bit, and you can cheat a little bit by rotating the gun, but which is fine for play, but you know, in photos and stuff, it won't look right. So the accessory cards will most definitely succeed here because they'll have better articulation in the arms and stuff, and you know, at least the double elbows and stuff. But no, that's not working. Without a ball joint hand, it's just not going to work. So unfortunately, we can't do like the most ideal pose with him like that. But what we can try is peg this in. I did notice that a lot of the time, this belt it's not in position. But let's try and plug this in. So this can go in the belt just fine. But I did try this before, and it's a really tight fit. It won't go in the body at all. I tried really hard and found, you see I'm scratching the plastic, scraping it. So that's no good. So at least it does stay there on the belt strap. So, but the hole in the body, that's not working. If you have one of these Mandos, let me know how that turns out for you. Anyway, let's move on to articulation. So our head goes up, head goes down. He actually has a double neck joint, so that's awesome. Some of the other Black Series don't have that. Something I complained about with like Darth Maul and, you know, Ahsoka Tano and Darth Revan, the original release. I imagine the new sort of white good Revan look is also going to be the old mold, so that's probably going to suck as well, so I'm not going to get that. Plus I don't like that colors anyway. Evil like Revan looks cooler. So yeah, lots of movement for the head. This cape does get in the way a little bit, but just move it out the way and you should be fine. It's great. Shoulders go very far up even with these. Full rotation here. Single elbow joints of 45 degrees with rotation, and hand is on a peg and single swivel. Torso, I'm thinking ball joint moves far back, far forward without the risk of snapping this because his body does stop, but he's got lots of movement there. Woohoo! And leg goes up. Sort of move this out the way if you really need to. Leg goes back. He does have a rotating joint again. These shoulder pads cover that joint. I really hate this rotating joint, but armor pack does cover it. Bit of a paint issue there. And double knee joint. I also noticing that these joints are a little bit, starting to get a little bit loose. If yours get loose, add a little bit of super glue in there and then just keep rotating it so it doesn't like get stuck, and then you should tighten up the joint again. So you're essentially adding a very thin layer of plastic into the joint to make it like thickened up again. And feet goes forward, backwards. Oh, that's quite a lot. And rotating joints, so peg and swivel as well. So overall articulation on this guy is pretty decent. Let's move on to the big Mando guy. And oh, God's sake, that keeps falling off. So plug in. I'm going to really push it. So this hard plastic piece is supposed to plug into, I'm going to do this off camera because it's annoying, but I eventually manage. So yeah, you can definitely pose quite well with this like assault laser machine gun thing. Now this doesn't rotate, but it doesn't rotate in the TV show as well. I was listening to the Weekly Planet or Mr. Sunday Movies podcast, and they're mentioning how the reason why real life Gatling guns rotate is because the bullets will heat up the barrels and it would like melt it. So that's why they rotate. But this is a laser gun, so it doesn't need to do that. So yay, that's something I learned from that really silly, funny podcast. I like listening to them. They actually really do make me laugh quite a lot. So yeah, this pose is pretty good. But I do have complaints with this gun, and that is this plastic tube here. It's sort of an awkward position to plug in there, so you might want to plug this into the arm first before plugging the backpack into the body, because it's just an awkward position. Plus this plastic, while it is like soft-ish and does have give, this has a matte feel to it and doesn't feel like the same soft plastic we've seen in these capes and fabrics and all that. And I wish it was, because this feel like it will snap and break eventually, because it just doesn't have enough give. Same goes to this
gun tube as well. I actually have a few areas in here that's already showing signs of wear and tear, like, you know, when you bend the plastic, it's going a bit wide. If I can sort of see it on here as well, so that's not good. I have considered doing some like customization with this. I'm thinking if I cut all of these pieces and drill a hole through them, I could like run a metal wire through there, and then I'll have a metal wire gun which will pose much easier and move much better. So that's something I'm considering doing. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about, you know, this tube, or, you know, customizing the weapon or gun like that. Same goes to this tube. Now obviously I can't just chop this up, it would look really bad, but I'm wondering if I was able to get a thicker sort of metal, or a metal wire with a thicker sort of plastic tube, how would that go? By the way, this one rotates out the way if you need it to, and yep, there's a tiny peg there, so I'm just gonna see if I can it's a tight fit, but I'm rather it be tight than keep falling off and be annoying. So yes, doing that does like warp this plastic a little bit the way you pose it. So let's see if I move his hand down. Okay, full rotation. Yeah, that doesn't get in the way too much. But yes, I like this a lot. In fact, this is the first Mando figure I picked up because I couldn't find anyone of this anywhere. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, yep, this is a great figure. I must pick it up, even if it costs a little bit more than regular Black Series stuff. Now, maybe because this is a bigger figure and because he's like a big armor type, hear that? That's hard plastic. Hasbro usually goes with the softer, and this one's harder. See? So that's pretty cool. So this reminds me instantly of more like, you know, Japanese or Asian made toys, and I was already very happy with that. So, and I do like that, a mix of hard and soft plastics, stop sticking to just one type. I think that's a great compromise for any toy factory, to be honest. So, and same goes the helmet as well, which gives it a very nice sort of shine. So, and I like how they've managed to keep the colors consistent between harder and softer plastic. On top of the helmet there, this blue paint there is a little bit distracting, but aside from that, the rest of it looks good, like the silver and the damage there. Tiny antenna there also looks really cool as well. Back looks nice and decent. Moving down to the neck, got the black fabric there, and nice little like extra details on the armor. And yeah, the little silver details that add on there also looks really good as well. The Mandalorian symbol there, I forgot what name the sect is, but Boba Fett has stolen that logo as well, and different shoulder pads, that's pretty cool. Down here, the sleeves also look great, and then his little gauntlet things also look really awesome as well. Soft fabric cape here, I think it's the same softness as the one on Mandalorian himself, but because it is like a wider piece, it feels slightly less bendy, but it doesn't get in the way of posing at all. So that's great. Moving down here, these like armor pieces cover that ugly joint that I hate. The cape covers it as well, so unless I'm in more extreme poses, I'm not going to see that line. So I like this a lot. These also cover up the knee joint, and the dirt paint on this also looks pretty amazing. And yeah, just to see a quick look on the back. Not too much detail in here, but I guess that's fine because for the most part you will have it covered up. So yeah, pretty cool looking figure. So in terms of articulation, there's a single joint there, but you can look quite far down, up a little bit. Can look a bit sideways, and full rotation as well. Moving down to the arms, his shoulder pads again are soft plastic and do get out of the way. So that's pretty good. Like, despite how bulky he is, he has tons of articulation, and does look a bit awkward, like, wow, no, why are your shoulder pads so soft? Is that really going to protect you? Kind of like sometimes in the Kamen Rider shows when you see close-ups, that happens with their armor as well. But it's fine, it's great for posing. And 45 degrees here again, and rotating joint, hands on peg, and a bit of just one bend joint, so peg and swivel. Torso has really lots of movement, again, despite how bulky he is. That's great, it's awesome. There is, however, no articulation between this piece and this piece, so that's a bit of a shame. Legs go up, down, rotating joint here, double knee joint. Hate those ugly pegs, but thank God they're not too noticeable. Foot goes quite far down, quite far up, and sideways. So in terms of how posable he is, again, despite how bulky he is, look, he can do a rider kick very easily. That's awesome. So I'm just gonna sit him in the back there with his rider kick. Mando, you can go back there as well. And finally we move over to the Jawa. So I did eventually manage to get that gun in there. You sort of had to push this down just to make it more of a circle shape and plug that in. And that's as best I can get it. And this area here with the gun, it is a soft plastic, but I'm also still quite scared of snapping it. So, and I do wonder if I push this in too far, it would be hard to pull it back out, and again, risking more snappage. But this wire is much softer than the other plastic on the big Mandalorian. Okay then. So, and this whole strap thing is pretty good. A little bit too much wash on this. I have another one of these with a bit less wash, but overall it's okay. The face there is pretty awesome, and this hood piece is still a soft plastic, so that's pretty good. Move this up, you can see he has the regular Jawa arms like the original release, but if you open this up, you can see he doesn't have like the, I guess this is still just a recoloring of the original Jawa, and maybe they have an extra like rubbery cloak on him, and at this point I really would have preferred a rubbery cloak. I mean, yes, this means that these Jawas can very easily well, unplug their leg apparently, but I was going to say easily sit down. Get back in there. It says loose. I'm gonna have to plug that in like after a while. But their legs, their knees don't bend all the way unless you unplug them, I guess. So they can sit down, but not quite. It must be like a design like leftover from when they were still using harder plastics. Like, they don't need to sit down. They can't with the hard rubbery cloaks. So that's annoying. More like what we used to see with Jawa, so that's fine. It's just done in a goldish chrome finish. And so yeah, in terms of articulation, he's got the full head rotation there. He can, I want to say he can look up and down, but he can't. Just rotation, that's a bummer. But for the way cloak is shaped and stuff, I'm not too annoyed with that. I'm at peace with that. Arms can go quite far up. Rotation joint there, but he does spray out because of how the torso's molded. Does have a rotating joint there, so you can do the elbow thing, and of course only single elbow joint. Hand is on a peg, left right peg and swivel. And again, let's see, does he have a torso joint? Yes, he does. Rotating joint there, but no up, very little up and down. Might as well not be there. Legs go up, you saw how much this bent. Feet up, down, sideways, and a bit sideways. And yeah, this whole cloak thing, it sort of matches their rough motif, but yeah, that's just very distracting how much is like falling apart already. I'm gonna be eventually I have a naked black Jawa, and that's oh boy.
So the Mandalorian is pretty good and great in terms of Black Series standards. Articulation overall is pretty nice, although the gun holding thing is a little bit annoying to do, but you can sort of twist it around, just takes a little bit more work. The overall sculpting of the figure is pretty nice, and the coloring is pretty good, and accessory wise, yeah, he does come with everything I feel like he needs to come with, so that's pretty good. Big Mando, great articulation for such a bulky figure. I do like that they've used more harder plastic in certain areas to make him more secure. I like how well the joints are hidden, and the overall paint job looks pretty nice as well. The accessory is a little bit on the dodgy side, but I think most people who just pose their figures or leave them in the box will be just fine. For people who actually play around with their figures, do be mindful with that. There is a chance of snapping the tubes there, and you will probably have to do some sort of customization to make it work again. And once again, really not a fan of that grey little wire. That seems like it's the first thing that's gonna break. The Jawas, the cloth thing is pretty good, but the quality of the cloth rope is terrible. It will break and disintegrate pretty soon, ironically, so hey. The figure itself looks fine, I guess, and the accessories are also fine, I guess, and the posability, for the most part, it's okay, although he can't really do any extreme poses. That can be a little bit annoying. But overall, I still enjoy these figures for what I paid for. I didn't pay full price for the Jawa, that's great. If I did pay the full price Black Series price, I would be annoyed, but I didn't, that's great. And the other two figures, the big Mando is a little bit more expensive, but hey, I feel like it deserves it for being not only a bigger figure, but also a top quality Black Series figure is. So if this figure were to come with extra hands, for example, or a few more accessories, he would almost reach the budget or lower line of the SH Figuarts, and maybe even surpass some SH Figuarts from the past. So that's great. As always, take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon, and may the Force be with you.